Welcome to Psychology 308, which is abnormal psychology. I'm going to be your instructor for this course, Dan Florell. And of course, like you, I would have hoped to see you in person. And that's what I had all intents to do. But obviously, the pandemic had us other plans. And with social distancing, we just couldn't have the class in person. So we're going to be online. And I want you to get used to this mug here, as I will be presenting various modules in this very format, where we'll have the PowerPoint slides in the main part of the YouTube videos, and then you'll get to see me down here in the bottom in my wonderful basement abode where I'm doing all my recording. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about abnormal psychology. I think that traditionally most psychology majors find this one of the more interesting courses because, of course, this gets into the psychological disorders that we've all heard about one way or another, whether they're various plot points in media, or maybe we have a loved one as either a family or friend who is dealing with a abnormal kind of disorder. So this class is going to do the best it can to give you an overview of all the areas of psychopathology and just kind of hit some of the various highlights. So we're going to be going through most of the various disorders, though we don't quite have time to get through all of them. Anytime, let's see here, this basically is one of the things that we're doing as the DSM-5, and as you can see, lots of disorders here. So we're not going to be, this is thicker than your textbook, so you can see that your textbook's not going to quite get to everything. But that being said, I think we will cover a fair amount of material. So in this orientation, what I'm going to do is just give you familiar with what is the layout of this course, what's the syllabus have in it, what are we going to be kind of doing, all those nervous questions that we usually want to ask ourselves when we're starting a new course. So a little bit about me. You already see my name's up there. I've taught this course just for the last year or two, though I am a licensed psychologist and background in school psychology. I have my own private practice. I do evaluations and do counseling on the clinical side. So I have a lot of personal experience with these sorts of disorders and helping treat those and diagnose them. Though it must be said, I tend to focus more on children and adolescents and not so much on adults. And as you find as we get through this course and various chapters, there are going to be some chapters where the disorders are going to be much more oriented towards adult populations compared to children and adolescents. So I'm learning a lot in this course. The more times I teach it, this will be, like I said, I've been teaching for the past year and, of course, living it for much longer. So let's go ahead and look at what we have next. So the book that we're going to be using, and hopefully you received an email announcement about this because it is an electronic textbook. I will tell you my personal bias. I do not like electronic textbooks, but that's where a lot of these various publishing companies are going. And so the Altman and Emery Abnormal Psychology 9th edition, a book, is one of those that they've converted on over. And so there we are. What you basically need to do is buy a access code at the library and then go ahead and click on the link and the explanation that I sent you all. And if you didn't, or you're late in joining this particular course, it is posted in the announcements. So you have another avenue there. And of course, I had to have at least one little comic about an example definition of abnormal behavior, where their professor goes in dressed in a tutu and bunny slippers in introducing. Of course, for all you know, that's what I'm in right now, because you're only seeing me from the torso on up. So always amusing things going on. So let's go ahead and spend the rest of this orientation video really going through the syllabus and defining it. The syllabus is going to be located in your course information tab at the very top. And I highly recommend that you can even stop this video and download it. You want to have this on ready access because this is what we're going to base everything in this course on. Okay? All right, so let's get out of this here and let's go ahead and look at, I'll blow this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at the syllabus. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is going ahead and first, there's my contact information. The best way to get a hold of me is through email. And when you send an email, I will respond to it within 24 hours. If you happen to send the email during the workday hours, that's 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., I'm probably going to get back to you in much less than 24 hours. If, on the other hand, you send it to me at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to have to wait until the morning around 8 o'clock when I get to my backlog of emails and respond to you. If you send on the weekend, I just don't really check my emails over the weekend. If I do, I don't usually respond to them. So if you have assignments and questions and you send it to the weekend, I will respond, but it may be more than 24 hours. If you send, say, Saturday morning, I will get to it Monday morning. Okay, so I just want to have those expectations. You don't need to send repeated emails if it's a couple hours have gone by. I received it. I just have things that I need to do. And obviously, it interrupts a workflow, if you're answering emails every time something comes in as soon as it comes in. So just want to establish that. Now, you can call me at that phone number. However, I'm not going to be located on campus for most of the semester, basically because all of my classes are online, and EKU, out of an abundance of caution, has recommended that all faculty stay at home unless we absolutely have to come in or are teaching in person. And like I said, I wanted to, but they didn't have the space. So long story short, if you call, I'll probably get the message, but the only way that it'll connect as I'm at home is if my computer happens to be on. So it's a little hit and miss there. But the email should be more than adequate. If we need to do something that email is just going to be very lengthy, I'll probably encourage to set up a Zoom interactive video conference, or we can just do the good old-fashioned call on the phone, and I can go over in more detail. The Zoom will be nice because I can share some things. If you have questions about how you did on an assignment or something that's not quite clear, I can just call it up on my computer and show you what I'm seeing, and that can make things go quickly. If you do send me an email, please try to put Psych 308 and then, because I have several courses and it's hard for me sometimes if you just say, hey, professor, I've got a question and I don't quite remember which class you're in specifically. It just makes it a lot longer for me to take and get back. All right, so moving on. The overview, this is really focused on abnormal psychology and pretty much all aspects of it. As such, the book that we're using, we're going to use all but maybe the last couple of chapters. So we're going to be going through quite a bit. We're also, as far as your student learning outcomes, I encourage you to look at this because if you're wondering why we're doing certain assignments and such, it's all tied to these student learning outcomes. So there's a rhyme and reason to why I'm expecting you to do what you're assigned to do. And we'll go over those in more details in a minute. Okay, so as far as course requirements, we're going to have 5 tests. We have roughly every 3 chapters or so, we're going to have an exam. It's a fairly short exam. And the important thing to know about the exams that you take online is they're meant to be closed book, meaning no notes, no access to other resources, including websites, while you're taking the test. All the exams you got to complete in that day that it is scheduled, and it will cut off at midnight. So don't try to push it and start taking your exam at 11:45 because it will cut you off before you're probably ready to finish. You need to allot enough time to finish them. So try to make sure you have secured and consistent internet access when you access it and enough time to complete it. Okay. You're going to be given an average of 50 seconds per question, which is going to work out because you have 40 multiple choice questions on exams to 34 minutes. Once you start it, you need to complete it because you can't stop, you can't pause. And so it'll register wherever you are when that time limit is up. Now, if you have a disability and you need test accommodations or anything from this class, please just let me know and we'll go ahead and get everything set up for you so that you can have the accommodations that you need. If you think you need accommodations, but you're not sure or don't have anything official, go to the Center for Student Accessibility and they'll hook you right up and help you and then give you a letter to give to me so that I can make these accommodations. Okay. Now, we're going to have two types of assignments. One, I'm really excited about. I'm excited about all of them, let's face it. I mean, this is abnormal psychology. This is fun stuff. So the first one, though, is really neat. It's kind of cutting edge. It's called a therapy chatbot assignment. Now, for this chatbot assignment, you're going to need a smartphone. I'm assuming most, probably all of you have smartphones. If you don't, just let me know. I do have an alternative assignment that's available. But what you're going to do is download 3 different chatbots. And these are artificial intelligence that go ahead and communicate with you regarding various mental health issues. Now, I'm not assuming you have mental health issues, but on the other hand, you have been cooped up in your house or domicile probably for many months now, and it may be driving you a little batty. It certainly is me. And so what you're going to do is we're going to see how effective each of these chatbots are. So we're going to do kind of a round robin, and you get to try each chatbot for a couple of weeks, and then you respond to some surveys afterwards. And so the intent here is to give you a little bit of a flavor of what therapy kind of might look like. Granted, it is an artificial intelligence, and also where maybe we're moving with the way that we provide mental health care. It may not just be a person sitting with you and talking across distance. Actually, now we're doing everything through telehealth. And so we're getting closer to where the robots are in regards to this. I think it's a great assignment, and it's something that we're going to do throughout the semester. So, and it's a pretty big portion of almost a third of your grade in the class. Now, there are 8 other class assignments that you're going to be doing. That's the other 40% of the class. Both the chatbot assignments and class assignments are going to be due by midnight, the day of the due date. So once that midnight hits, Blackboard kicks in and cuts off any availability. So you need to make sure to get it in by midnight. And please try not to push it. If it does cut you off and you are finished, you can email me the assignment. There is a penalty for late assignments. It's roughly 10% per day late. And if it's over a week late, then you get no credit at all. Okay, so please download those assignments as soon as possible so that you have those copies, even if you're unable to get to it, so that if it is late, you don't have to email me and then I have to give you the assignment materials again, because that's just going to be more penalty for you because it's going to delay when you can get it in. So just giving you a heads up of problems that people have had in the past. As far as attendance, if you were in person, I would take attendance daily. I think it's extremely important, and it's the best way to learn. Can't do that in regards to this current course. And actually, this course is going to be an asynchronous course. So by that, I mean there is no particular time and place that you have to be for a live session. This is all going to be done on video, kind of on demand. It's not to say that you don't have specific days where you have things due, like your exams or assignments, but you have the whole 24 hours in which to complete them. I did that because I really wanted to make sure that you all had flexibility. I'm assuming your other classes have also mostly gone online, and even if they haven't, they have weird schedules, and everything's going to be up in the air, and that you're going to appreciate having at least one course that has some flexibility where you don't actually have to be in one place at one time all the time. That being said, the bad side is that it can be easy to put off your asynchronous class because you have more pressing needs from what it looks like. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep you on course. And through that, I do a variety of things. But the main thing is I'm going to check to make sure that you're logging in to your Blackboard account. I'm going to be making sure that you're turning in assignments or taking exams. And then I'm going to follow up with emails. And if I notice you're not doing particularly well on some of these assignments and exams, I'm going to follow up then too, just to make sure everything's okay, make sure there's not other things going on. If there are other things going on, please let me know. I can't help you unless you let me know. Otherwise, I just assume you don't want to do the assignments. Okay? All right. As far as the breakdown, a third of the exam course is exam grades, another third from the therapy chatbot, and then 40% is from class assignments. Grading is your traditional 90, 80, 70, 60. If you get an 89.5 or above, I'm going to go ahead and round up. Okay, as far as required text, we already talked about Altman, and on the other slide, it is an electronic textbook, so please make sure to get that going. I had a little issue last semester with people getting access to it. I think I've taken care of all those issues, but please let me know as soon as possible if that's something that has not happened, because it is very important to have your textbook. You gotta have the textbook. It is what I base my lectures on. It's going to be one of the major ways that you're going to be able to get information. So let me talk about the different ways that you can get information. Okay, my idea is to try to get you as many modalities as possible where you can get the information in. So the first and main way that I want you to get your information is through these video modules. There'll probably be about 8 to 12 video modules per chapter, and those are going to run anywhere from 8 minutes to 15 minutes. I've tried to make the modules relatively short so that you can watch 2 or 3 of them in any given time. The equivalent of 3 to 4 modules is going to be like a traditional kind of Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. So if you follow along in the syllabus and you want to make it feel like a class, you could watch 2 or 3 modules each time and kind of stay up. That's the way I would advise doing it, because the more you space out what you learn, the more you're going to remember it. So that's one way. Another way is, at least for the first half of the semester, I have audio lectures from my first recording of this class when we were meeting in person. Now, unfortunately, the pandemic hit, so I only have half of the semester there, and then it's going to convert to just video modules. But at least for the first half of the course, you're going to have audio lectures of a live class that you can access. If you have bandwidth problems, that may be a better alternative. Third way to be able to go ahead and access content is through the textbook. So like I said, I model my lectures off the textbook. So if you have the textbook, it's going to provide a lot more information than I can get through in a lecture. So I encourage you to go ahead and get that. So that's 3 ways you can get the information. Now, I also want to make sure that you stay on target. And so in addition to the syllabus, where I list everything that's due and when it's due, I also have a system called Remind. A Remind is an optional text message system you can subscribe to that allows me to go ahead and give you feedback of when things are coming up due, and also highlighting existing content of the major concepts we're going over that week. So Remind, you can sign up for. It allows you to either get text messages or emails, and I will send roughly 1 a day of each of the 2 different types of reminds. And you have to sign up for each individually if you want to. Remind Assignments is going to go ahead and tell you when an upcoming assignment or a module has been released. And it kind of just keeps you front of mind that, oh yeah, that abnormal class, I need to go ahead and look at this. Remind Content is going to be a significant area that we have looked at in class or in the lecture that day that you may want to just kind of file away. And a lot of that content is going to end up on any tests or exams that we have. So you can go ahead and sign up for that. It's under the course information. It's also here in the syllabus. I already alluded to the late assignments. So 10% today a deduction every day late, up to a week. If it's more than a week, you get a 0. As far as exams, you need to tell me, hopefully before you miss an exam that you're going to miss, so we can schedule a makeup time. If you don't, you have until the next test to notify me about needing to take one. If you don't, that will then go to 0 as soon as the next slide goes. Okay. As far as this, it's an exclusive Blackboard course. We do have links into some YouTube videos and such, but otherwise, that's pretty much what's going on there. For any of our projects, you may contact Knoll Studio Services, though I don't think there's anything particularly in this class that you may need that for. And of course, the library also has a lot of good resources. If you're struggling in class, there's 3 different ways that you can go ahead and get help. Okay. The first one, of course, is email me, right? I'm here and I'm more than happy to set up a video conference through Zoom or something else to just kind of discuss the problems that you're having and any recommendations I might have. The Student Success Center is one that's available for any type of tutoring for a wide variety of topics, so you can consider that. Or the psychology program or department has the PASS program. and that is a tutoring program explicitly for those taking psychology classes. So 3 different ways: contact me, the Student Success Center, or going into the PASS program. Here are your drop policies and academic integrity writing expectations. Okay. The official email, we will be using your EKU assigned email exclusively for all communications for this course. So if you have another email address that you happen to look at, you need to get in the habit of looking at the EKU one at least once a day, because that's where I'm going to be sending out all my announcements. Another thing I try to do is make sure that I send out these announcements on a weekly basis, usually towards the end of the week, and kind of an overview of here's what we have going on, here's what you got coming up. So you'll get an email that kind of summarizes that, a little bit longer, so it's not like the remind, it's not quite at the moment, it's more a 1 week ahead kind of preview of where we're headed for the course. If you do have a disability, you can contact the Center for Student Accessibility, or if you already have a disability statement and any accommodations you need for this course, please just let me know. Here's the discrimination harassment statement too. If you feel discriminated or harassed against, here are the resources for that. So let's talk a little bit about the course and how it's structured. What I've done is broken it down by week and by day. We were originally scheduled for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday course, so that's kind of how I've broken it down. And then I put a space in between that week. You can see the page numbers that correspond to the textbook and what we're going to be reviewing, so you can follow along. In addition, the slides that I'm going through on the video lectures will be available for download. So you can decide to download that, and you can write your notes while I'm doing my video lecture, if that's a good way for you. But those are available. Anytime you see a bold there on the syllabus, that means something is due. So we have an orientation quiz that is going to be due this Friday, the 21st. It is a very short quiz, and it's the only quiz or exam that we're going to have that I highly encourage you to use your notes and materials, especially your syllabus, and having watched this video. All the answers are there. And then we're going to go ahead and try something new, and that is an article discussion through perusal, where you're going to help annotate and discuss various aspects of an article that is going to get into the treatment of psychological disorders. I think it's going to be kind of a nice, engaging aspect of the course, since we are asynchronous, and hopefully you all like it too. We've got, I believe, 3 or 4 of those. And then you can see the exam here popping up. I also have indicated, especially in this kind of italicized, is when the various chatbot assignments occur. So the first is looking over the material in the chatbot overview, and then we're going to get into starting. So you're going to start using the chatbots for just a few minutes every day for a couple of weeks, and then at the end you can see round 1 therapy chatbot assignment due. You just log in, you complete the survey, and you're done. Okay, so that's pretty much how we're going to go through the semester. I think everything is pretty detailed. If you have any questions along the way, I would say go to the syllabus, or you can come to me. If you have a chance right now, I would plug all these assignments and due dates into your phone so that you can get alerts of when things are coming up, especially if you decide not to use the Remind service. Okay. Now, as you can see, we're kind of wrapping things up at the last, right before Thanksgiving. Now, officially, we're supposed to have a final. I just don't want to have you dreading and having to review everything during Thanksgiving and then come back online to take one final as you're all off campus if you aren't already. So we're just going to wrap things up by November 23rd. Okay. So that's the syllabus and a brief overview of the course. Obviously, we're going to get into a lot more. We're going to start off right away into Chapter 1. So that'll be the next video modules that you're going to do. Now, you might be thinking, what am I going to do? What's the next steps here? So you've already done one. You've gone ahead and watched your orientation video and looked over the syllabus. So next thing, make sure to get access to your textbook. Very important. Get the textbook. Okay, so that's the second thing. Third thing, you might as well go ahead and do the orientation quiz. You've already watched this. You've got access to the syllabus. Why not go ahead and do that? So I would go ahead and do that quiz as you're already thinking about what the overview of this course is like. And then finally, go ahead and start looking at chapter 1 because we are already into it. And I think you'll enjoy it. It's just a very interesting topic, a wide range of issues that are going on. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Remember, you can contact me whenever you need, and I will try to respond in a prompt manner. So let's hear it for a good semester.